I never thought I'd fall for him. Those words echoed in Mara's mind as she knelt beside her broken bike on the corner of 5th and Willow. The morning was alive with the city's chaos. Buses screeched, taxis honked, pedestrians rushed past. She had somewhere to be, a meeting she could not miss. And yet here she was, helpless, the chain twisted and stubborn. Then he appeared. Liam, hands smudged with grease, a crooked grin that was all charm and a little mystery. Without asking, he crouched beside her bike. Mara noticed the small details, the stubborn curl of hair falling over his forehead, the way his eyes, sharp and calculating, moved over the broken chain like he could read its entire history. "You're not going anywhere like this," he said, voice calm but firm, carrying a certainty that made her chest tighten. She wanted to respond, to say something clever or at least thank him, but no words came. Instead, she watched him work, fascinated by the ease with which his fingers coaxed the chain back into place. The wheel spun. Fixed. Mara wanted to reach out, to touch the sleeve of his jacket, to say more than a simple thank you, but she stopped herself. Something in the way he looked at her, direct, knowing, almost private, made her hesitate. A taxi honked loudly. Mara jumped. The spell broke. She mounted her bike, heart still racing, but Liam's presence lingered like a shadow in the corner of her mind. That was when she noticed it, a small ring box, peeking from his jacket pocket. Her breath caught. He didn't seem to notice. Or maybe he did. He smirked faintly, and that smile made her pulse accelerate for reasons she didn't want to analyze. Mara rode through the city streets, each pedal stroke heavy with thoughts she tried to ignore. Work was waiting, emails piling, meetings scheduled, yet her mind clung to the morning encounter. She kept replaying his actions, his grin, the intensity in his eyes. Why did a stranger fixing a bike make her feel exposed in a way no coworker or friend ever had? The day unfolded with normalcy that felt painfully dull. Mara couldn't shake Liam from her thoughts. Every unexpected noise made her glance at the window. Every stranger's movement made her wonder if it was him again. Then she saw him, standing outside the coffee shop across from her office, casual, leaning against the wall, scrolling on his phone. He didn't see her. She froze. Her heart raced. The city's noise faded into a background hum. Mara knew two things. She shouldn't go over, and yet she wanted to. More than she wanted to admit. That evening, she found herself at the same intersection where the bike had broken. She told herself it was coincidence, but her gut knew better. Liam appeared again, this time with a small backpack slung carelessly over one shoulder. "You're persistent," he said, smirking as he saw her hesitate. "I could say the same," Mara replied, heart pounding. They walked together, slowly, the city around them fading into blur. Liam shared bits of himself, small, human details. He was a mechanic at a local repair shop, but he painted bicycles in his free time for the city's charity program. Mara listened, fascinated, but also wary. He was charming, yes, but real, imperfect, and she was already feeling drawn into something complicated, something that didn't fit neatly into her life plan. Days passed. Their paths kept crossing in unlikely ways. Each encounter built tension Mara couldn't ignore. She felt herself opening up, letting curiosity, attraction, and a hint of hope slip past her defenses. But with that openness came doubt. She had been hurt before, and Liam carried his own secrets, glimpsed in fleeting moments, a sadness behind his smile, a hesitation in his tone. And then came the test. A rumor at work about Liam reached her ears, a past relationship that ended bitterly. Mara felt a stab of jealousy she didn't expect. Questions flooded her. Was he honest? Could she trust the connection forming between them? Was it too late to step back, or had she already crossed the line? That night, she sat on her balcony, staring at the city lights. Thoughts tangled, heart racing. She realized something vital. She had fallen, even if unwillingly, and the fall came with fear, with doubt, and with the unmistakable thrill of something real beginning to bloom. The first act closed with Mara standing at the edge of choice: retreat to safety or risk the unknown with Liam, the man who fixed more than just her bike. Mara didn't expect to see Liam that night. The streets were wet from a sudden rain, and the city lights reflected in puddles like scattered stars. She had convinced herself that crossing paths again was impossible. Yet there he was, leaning against the corner of her favorite cafe, umbrella in one hand, coffee in the other. She froze. The world slowed. He looked up, smiled faintly, but something in his eyes was different. Wariness, maybe, or a shadow of hesitation. Mara approached cautiously, heart pounding, aware that each step carried both hope and risk. "Mara," he said softly, "I didn't think you'd come." "Neither did I," she admitted. The conversation started light, casual, but beneath the words was an electric tension neither wanted to confront yet. Mara noticed the subtle tremble in his hands, the way he avoided certain topics, and her own chest tightened at the realization. He carried burdens, secrets, things he wasn't ready to share. Days became a pattern of stolen moments and brief encounters. They met at the park, in quiet corners of the city, sharing coffee and fragments of their lives. But Mara felt the walls closing in. Work demanded more. Friends questioned her new preoccupation, and she couldn't ignore the whispers she overheard. Liam's past relationship, broken trust, rumors of a betrayal long ago. Each mention stabbed at her chest. Could she trust him? Was she building something real, or was it fragile as the wet leaves underfoot? One evening, Liam suggested a bike ride along the riverside. Mara agreed, though anxiety fluttered in her stomach. The city was alive with evening traffic, lights bouncing on the water, laughter from passerby couples. Yet between them, a different rhythm existed, a mixture of attraction and uncertainty, drawing them closer, yet holding them apart. Halfway through the ride, Liam stopped. He leaned his bike against a tree, ran his fingers through his hair, and looked at her seriously. "There's something I haven't told you," he said, voice low. "Something I should have before us." Mara's stomach twisted. She braced herself. "What is it?" He hesitated, eyes searching hers. "I'm not perfect. I've hurt people before, and I don't want to lose you because of that." Silence. Mara's mind raced. She remembered the empty ring box she had seen weeks ago, the glimpses of sadness behind his smile, the rumors she had tried to ignore. And yet, here he was, vulnerable, opening a door she hadn't expected. The following week tested them further. A colleague of Mara's recognized Liam at a charity bike event and mentioned his past publicly. Mara felt exposed, angry, conflicted. The next meeting at work was a blur. Her mind wasn't on spreadsheets or deadlines, but on trust and fear. Could she handle someone with a complicated history? Could she let herself fall, knowing the risk? That night, she avoided calling him. Her phone lay silent, and the quiet gnawed at her. Sleep didn't come easily. Thoughts twisted around him, the small gestures, the conversations, the moments where he had shown care, and the fears of what could go wrong. Finally, she texted him, "Can we talk?" Liam replied immediately, "Yes. Meet me at the riverside, 8 p.m. When she arrived, he was waiting, hands in pockets, eyes earnest. No words at first. They walked along the water, silence speaking volumes. Then, Mara stopped and faced him. "I don't know if I can trust you," she admitted. Her voice trembled, but she spoke the truth she had carried for days. "I'll earn it," he said simply. "I don't expect it all at once." And in that moment, something shifted. Mara felt both fear and hope, uncertainty and connection. The second act closed with them walking side by side, tentative but deliberate, knowing that the path ahead would be complicated, but willing to take the steps together, even if slowly. The night wrapped the city in quiet. Rain had stopped. Reflections in puddles mirrored their cautious smiles. Mara realized she was learning to trust again, not blindly, but with awareness. Liam wasn't perfect. Neither was she. But for the first time in a long while, she felt alive with the possibility that real connection, messy, risky, human, could exist. The morning Mara had dreaded arrived. Liam hadn't replied to her last message for hours. Every notification on her phone made her heart jump and sink simultaneously. The city moved around her, indifferent to the storm inside her chest. She remembered the first moment he had fixed her bike, how effortlessly he had stepped into her world. And now, that same man, flawed, human, imperfect, was absent, leaving a void she couldn't ignore. Hours later, she received a call. Liam's voice, calm but strained. "Mara, I need to explain." They met at the riverside again, where so much had begun. He carried the ring box in his pocket, but this time, there was no smirk, no casual charm. Just vulnerability, open and raw. "I didn't want my past to shadow us," he admitted. "I was afraid you'd see me as broken." Mara studied him. His eyes, usually playful, now held honesty and fear. She realized she had been holding her own fears, the fear of trusting, of falling too fast, of getting hurt, just as tightly. "I see you," she said softly. "All of you. The good, the mistakes, everything." Silence stretched. The river moved slowly, reflecting the golden evening light. And then Liam smiled, a real, gentle smile, as if a weight had been lifted. That night, they walked through the quiet streets, sharing stories, small laughs, and confessions that had been waiting too long. Mara felt the tension dissolve, replaced by something fragile, yet steadfast. Each step brought clarity. Trust was earned, love was patient, and some risks were worth taking. The next day at work, Mara noticed the subtle change in herself. She carried calm in her chest instead of anxiety, a warmth that no spreadsheet or deadline could disturb. She thought of Liam, his honesty, his mistakes, his willingness to face her with truth. And she realized love wasn't about perfection. It was about presence, vulnerability, and choice. Weeks later, they stood together at the same corner where her bike had first broken. Liam reached for her hand. She hesitated for a heartbeat, then intertwined her fingers with his. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" he asked, brow raised. "For fixing more than my bike," she said, letting a soft smile spread. Liam's hand squeezed hers. They looked at the city around them, the bustling streets, the glowing windows, the endless flow of life. And for the first time, Mara felt certain that whatever came next, they would face it together. Imperfect, human, but undeniably theirs. Mara reflected later that night, lying in bed, the city lights painting soft patterns on her wall. She thought about fear, doubt, mistakes, and courage. She realized that life was messy, love even messier, but when someone chose you and stayed, it changed everything. She smiled, closing her eyes, knowing she had taken the risk, embraced the uncertainty, and found something that mattered more than safety. She had found connection, trust, and a quiet, steadfast beginning of love. Weeks had passed since that evening by the riverside. Mara found herself smiling at small things, the sound of a bike chain clicking into place, a gentle laugh from a stranger on the street, the way sunlight danced on puddles after rain. Liam had become part of her routine, not in a way that consumed her, but in a way that completed it. She reflected on their journey, the uncertainties, the fears, the moments when stepping forward felt impossible. She realized that love wasn't about perfection or grand gestures. It was about showing up, choosing each other every day, and learning to trust even when the world around you seemed chaotic. As Mara walked home one evening, hand in hand with Liam, she felt a quiet joy settle in her chest. She knew challenges would come again, mistakes would be made, and fears would resurface. But now she had learned something essential. Together, they could face them all. And with that thought, she smiled, letting the city's hum fill the spaces around her heart, grateful for the broken bike that had led to a love worth every risk.